Ah, you've come at last. The night is quiet, and the sea is still. Come, sit close. Let your mind grow calm, like ripples fading on a silver lake. Breathe slow, for this is no tale to chase or wrestle, but one to follow gently, like a candle, drifting down the stream. If your heart finds peace in stories like this, you may follow the trail again, by word or by bell. You can subscribe if you know what that means. And if you feel like sharing, tell me, where do you lie tonight? Is the moon high above your roof or hiding behind the hills? Tonight, I will speak of a city lost not in war, but in water. No cry was heard, only the hush of bells and stone sinking soft beneath the tide. It sleeps now, beneath the sea, where dreams drift like seaweed and shadows dance upon old walls. Are you ready? Then hush now and come with me. There is a place the wind no longer reaches, a place where the moonlight drifts through quiet waves and brushes gently against stone towers forgotten by time. They say it lies beneath the sea's slow breath, where no ship sails and no fisherman casts his net. The sunken city, a city that only sleeps, never gone, just resting, far below. Long ago, when the world was young and stars sang lullabies to the ocean, there stood a city built of pale stone and golden bells. Its name is lost to memory, but some call it Aurelia. It sat along the edge of a warm, blue sea, its towers tall like candle flames, its streets soft with sand blown in from the shore. The people of Aurelia moved slowly, like dancers wrapped in silk. They did not rush. They spoke in quiet voices, and each evening, when the sun bowed down, the city would listen, for just before nightfall, the bells would ring. Gong, a deep, humming tone that drifted across the rooftops, echoed through the gardens, and curled into the open sky. It did not demand attention. It simply existed, like a yawn shared by the earth itself. Children paused to listen. Cats raised their sleepy heads. Even the sea, playful and wild by day, grew calm. And it was on one such evening, under a sky the color of melted silver, that the city began to sink, not with panic, not with fear, but with peace. The bells rang once more. Gonna. Ground trembled like a sigh. Streets tilted, arches bent gracefully. Water slipped over the stone, slow and warm, as if the sea had come not to conquer, but to cradle. Windows blinked shut, lanterns dimmed, and all across Aurelia, bubbles began to rise, little pearls of air, drifting upward in slow, perfect spirals. The city did not fight. It simply let go. Down it sank, layer by layer, into the hush of the ocean. Roofs vanished under waves, like forgotten thoughts. Statues grew heavy with coral lace, and the golden bells, the bells sank with them, but they never stopped ringing. Gong. Now, when the moon is full and the wind holds its breath, the sea becomes still. If you lie very still yourself, you might hear it. The faint, distant chime from far below. A bell that tolls, not for warning, not for sadness, but for rest. And if you close your eyes, you might drift downward, just like the city did, down through the cool, silky water, down past the soft shimmer of fish weaving between crumbled arches, down to where shadowy buildings sleep, half covered in moss, their shapes barely outlined in the blue darkness. Here, nothing rushes, not the fish, not the seaweed, not even time. The current sways gently, like a mother's arms. Bubbles rise like dreams, slow and quiet. The world fades into a soft blue hum, and the bell, deep and golden, rings again. Gonk. Tonight, the sea will hold you too. Let yourself sink, not in fear, but in comfort. There is nothing to chase. No need to hold on, just the quiet pull downward into sleep. The sunken city is waiting. If you listen closely, closer than breath, closer than silence, you might hear them. Not words, not voices, just whispers. They live in the arches of the old city, the ones now dressed in coral and sea moss. They hum gently, like songs once known, but long forgotten. They come not from ghosts, nor from sorrow, but from memory, soft and warm, like the rustle of curtains in a sleeping room. Down here, time folds like velvet. Light slips through the surface in long ribbons, wavering as if it, too, is drowsy. The sea moves with the grace of dreams, slow, steady, and full of hush. And within this quiet world, the city waits. The arches, once grand walkways, held high above bustling squares, now lean sideways, half buried in sand. Fish glide through them, as if passing through doorways of light. Each column is wrapped in soft algae, glistening like green lace. Tiny crabs scuttle across carvings older than any book, while sea anemones bloom where candles once burned. And still, from time to time, the bell sounds, gonna, faint, distant, and deep, like a heart beating in the bones of the sea. Some say it is not a bell at all, but the city itself exhaling. Others believe it is the memory of a bell, an echo that cannot bear to fade. Whatever the truth, the sound lives on, rising through stone corridors and through the shimmering silence above. There is no fear here, no sharp edges. Everything is rounded by time, softened by water. Even the statues, some with arms outstretched, others bowed in silent thought, are covered in delicate sea flowers. Their faces are blurred by years of gentle currents, their eyes closed, as if dreaming, and maybe they are, for the sea has a way of keeping dreams. Each night, when the world above grows still, and the stars come out one by one, the water thickens with memory. A turtle glides past, slow as a thought. A cloud of silverfish bursts, then folds again, like pages turning in the dark. You are here now, beneath it all. The city surrounds you, not with walls, but with presence. A gentle presence, like an old friend who asks nothing of you but to rest. You float past a doorway, still shaped like a smile. Beyond it, a staircase leads downward, though no feet have touched it in 1,000 moons. Along the edge, a forgotten mural flickers in the dim light, gold and blue. A tale once told in paint. Perhaps it tells the story of Aurelia's last day above water, or perhaps it tells of nothing at all. Here, even stories drift. Bubbles rise from a crack in the stone, tiny, perfect globes of breath. You follow them upward with your gaze, watching as they vanish into brightness. It feels like watching stars in reverse, falling instead of rising. There is a small sound, soft, like a sigh pressed into velvet. Then another. You realize the whispers have returned. They are not words. They are not even thoughts. They are the hush of the arches, the exhale of old walls, the soft shifting of sand against stone. They are the city's lullaby. And in that lullaby, you find yourself drifting again. Not down this time, but inward into the space between your heartbeat and your breath, into the gentle weightlessness of not having to be anywhere or do anything, just stillness. The sea rocks you slowly, back and forth, not a wave, not a current, just a motion that feels like being held, like being remembered. The coral glows faintly now, as if the city is lit from within. The light doesn't reach the surface. It doesn't need to. This light is for the deep, for those who have come to rest. The bell chimes once more. Gonna... And in its echo, you feel your own breath grow long and light. Let it come. Let the water fold around you like a second skin. Let your thoughts drift like silt. Let your heart slow. Just for now. The arches will hold. The whispers will keep watch. The city is dreaming. There is a building in the deepest part of the sunken city, where the water turns the color of old ink. It leans gently to one side, as if bowing to time. No doors remain. No signs hang above the arched entrance. But step, or rather, drift, through the frame, and you'll know exactly what it was. The library, not of books, not of shelves, not anymore, but still, a library, all the same. Long ago, they say, the library of Aurelia was the quietest place in the world, a dome of soft stone, filled with warm lantern light, where people spoke only in whispers and walked as if not to wake. The walls, stories were not just stored there, they were kept, the way one keeps warmth in a cup of tea, thoughtfully, carefully, with 2 hands and a quiet smile. Now, the lanterns are long extinguished. The shelves are empty, their wood long since softened and returned to the sea, and the books gone, at least in the way you might think. But here, the water remembers. As you float beneath the library's great dome, you feel it, the shape of words that once were, the echo of footsteps in slow currents, the faint, thoughtful hush of a place that never forgot how to listen. Along the stone floor, seagrass grows in spirals. Each curl marks where a desk once stood. Moss creeps across faded carvings, symbols of suns, stars, and the curved lines of ancient letters. And in the center of it all, the table, round, wide, and heavy with time. The stone table remains. It has no scrolls upon it, but the water above shimmers strangely, forming shapes just beyond focus. Not ink, but impression, like the memory of a page that was once turned to many times. You reach out, not to take, but to feel, and the sea responds. A slow ribbon of water curls from the ceiling like smoke, rising not up, but down. It twists lazily into the air between your fingers, forming what looks like a page. Not solid, not written, but filled with something you know, even if you've never read it. The words are not shown, but they arrive. They arrive in your chest. They arrive in your breath. They arrive like stories you once dreamed but never told. One tale speaks of a girl who could sleep for days and wake with the name of every fish she saw in her dreams. Another of a boy who planted songs instead of seeds and whose garden bloomed with lullabies. There is no ink, no paper, no noise, only story. And each story, though unspoken, leaves a warmth in your bones, a softness behind your eyes, a quiet smile that you don't remember forming. You drift from table to wall and find that the stones here are carved too, deep lines filled with dark algae, outlining moons and waves, and open hands, symbols for rest, symbols for letting go. Even the ceiling of the dome carries a design, a great spiral of stars, now dimmed by layers of sea salt, like dust in an attic. And somewhere, through the hush, the bell tolls. Gong, here in the library. It sounds like a page turning, chapter ending, a pause before the next soft line. You lie upon the stone floor now, arms gently floating. You are not heavy, you are not light, you are held. The water turns the pages for you. Not fast, never fast. Each new story hums through your skin. A fisherman who caught the moon, a city that dreamed itself underwater, a clock that rang only once a year. Your heart slows. You feel it clearly now, how the city never truly sank. It settled, rested. It became a story. And in this library, without pages, that story is still being told. It hums in the currents. It curls in the kelp. It echoes in the domes and the arches and the deep, sleeping halls. You are part of it now, not a visitor, not a reader, but a dream written in water. The bell tolls one last time for tonight. Gong. And the story folds gently around you, like a blanket woven of waves and memory. Let it hold you. Let it tell you things you've always known. Let sleep take you, slowly, sweetly. The next page will wait. The city is patient, and the story is just beginning. There is a chamber beyond the edge of the sunken city, tucked behind coral-covered pillars and caves of soft light. No signs point the way. No currents guide you here. You do not find this place. It finds you, and when it does, the sea feels even quieter. The walls here are smooth, round as pearls. Their color is neither gold nor silver, but something between, a shimmer that shifts like the sky before sleep. They rise in a gentle dome, like the inside of a bell turned upside down, and inside the chamber they rest. The bells, not all of them are large. Some are no bigger than a closed fist, others as wide as a doorway. They float slightly above the floor, suspended in the water, unmoving, silent. They are not forgotten. They are simply sleeping. Each bell has its own story, but they no longer speak it. They hold it, quietly, tucked deep in their metal skin, like a breath waiting to be released. You drift between them. One bell is made of dark bronze, its surface green with age. Another gleams like moonlight, with tiny markings etched along its rim, little waves, little stars. As you move, you notice your breath slow, not from effort, but from gentleness. You do not want to disturb them. It feels like stepping into a room where many dreams are being dreamed at once. There are no fish here, no plants, only bells, and the soft hush of the sea curling gently around their frames. And then, far above you, so faint it might be your heartbeat, you hear it. Gong. The sound travels like light through mist. It touches the bells, one by one, not with noise, but with memory. You see it before you feel it, a faint shimmer as the smallest bell quivers just once, then another, then another. But still, they do not ring. They remember. You close your eyes, and you understand now. These are not bells made to mark time or call the city to prayer. These are the bells of endings, of letting go. Each one holds a name that was once whispered goodbye, wish never spoken aloud, a love that fell asleep and stayed dreaming. Not sorrow, not regret, just stillness, pure, quiet stillness. You float to the center of the chamber where the oldest bell rests. It is wide, low, and shaped like a cradle. Its surface is smooth, worn by years of water and silence. You reach out a hand, not to ring it, but to touch. And in that moment, you feel something deep within you stir. A thought you didn't know you carried. A weight you forgot you wore. It softens. You do not cry. You do not smile. You simply breathe. And the bell sleeps on. You curl into its side like a shell finding a shore. The water cradles you. Your heartbeat slows until it matches the pulse of the room. A rhythm older than music. A peace deeper than dreams. Around you, the bells begin to glow. Not brightly, only enough to show that they are still here, still waiting, still keeping time, not in seconds or minutes, but in heartbeats and hushes. Each one glows softly, as if lit by the dreams of those who've passed through this chamber before. The light does not move, it holds, and as you drift further inward, you realize this is not a place to remember what was lost. It is a place to feel what still remains. You are not a visitor. You are not a stranger. You are part of the silence now. A note in the lullaby, a shimmer in the water, a breath in the hush between bell tones. Let your thoughts dissolve. Let your name blur. Let your story rest, just for now. The bells will keep watch, and when you're ready to rise again, they will not call you. They will wait, as they always have, as they always will. Gong, far below the sleeping bells, where the city sinks into memory and coral thins into dust, lies something older still. A staircase, not one built with grand design or carved from ambition. It was grown by time, layer by layer, shaped by the gentle push of sand and salt and sea. You do not see it at first. It waits beneath a drifting curtain of silt, coiled like a seashell turned inward. But when your feet touch it, you know. Each step is smooth as glass, smoothed by centuries of currents. They glimmer faintly, though no light touches them. And as you begin to descend, the world above fades, not lost, but wrapped in hush. One step, then another, and another still. There are no railings, no torches, only the slow curve of descent, and the feeling that the deeper you go, the quieter the sea becomes. Not empty, just listening. With every step, the water thickens, not heavier, but softer, as if it too is settling down for the night. You begin to hear things not with your ears, but with your chest, a hum that matches your breath, a sigh like the sea drawing a blanket over itself, the distant memory of footsteps, yours perhaps, from long ago. For this is not your first descent. Somewhere, in some forgotten dream, you have walked this path before. The staircase winds deeper still. Each step is edged with barnacle lace, and here and there you see markings, etched shapes, barely visible beneath the sand, circles, shells, a spiral within a spiral, symbols of turning in, of coming home. You pause midway and feel the staircase breathe beneath you, a slow, rising pulse, not mechanical, not magical, natural, like the heartbeat of the earth beneath the sea, and the sand falls upward. It floats gently from the steps ahead, revealing more of the path, as if welcoming you back. You keep walking, not with purpose, but with trust. There is no destination, only down, only deeper, until at last the staircase opens into a chamber, small, round, and silent, a single opening in the rock, wrapped in layers of soft sand and whispering current. And there, at the center of the floor, is a mirror, not one made of glass, but of still, dark water. It lies perfectly flat, untouched by ripple or current, as if held in place by the quiet itself. You hover above it, and slowly the water clears. At first, you see only your reflection, faint, weightless, softened by the sea. But then it changes. The mirror shows not your face, but your feeling, the shape of your thoughts, the light in your sleep. You see your childhood smile, a hand you once held, a star you made a wish on and then forgot. The mirror remembers. It shows your sadness too, but gently, not as pain, but as something once carried, now set down. The longer you look, the softer you feel, until even your reflection fades, and you are left not with a face, not with a name, but with stillness. This is the heart of the city, not a throne, not a crown, just this small, quiet room where the sea shows you to yourself, where time folds in on itself like a nautilus shell, and sleep curls into sleep. You lie beside the mirror now, your body light as mist. Your breath is barely a breath. The staircase behind you waits, not to be climbed, but to dream with you. You close your eyes, and in the silence that follows, you feel the sea press close, not as weight, but as warmth. The kind of warmth that needs no fire, only stillness, only trust. Let yourself spiral inward. Let your mind soften like sand between the tides. Let the staircase hold your dreams, step by step, curve by curve. You are not sinking. You are becoming part of the hush, and the city welcomes you. There is a tower near the edge of the sunken city, where the water thins into twilight. It rises crooked and tall, its stones wrapped in vines of soft coral and thyme. Even now, long after the city slipped beneath the sea, the tower stands, quiet, tilted, and watching. It once held a bell. It once marked the hours, but now it keeps time in another way. You drift closer. Fish scatter as you pass, glimmering, silent witnesses To your arrival, their scales catch the faintest light, scattering it like fragments of memory. The tower door is open, if it ever had one at all. You pass through it like a dream returning to itself. Inside, the walls are carved with thousands of circles, each one slightly different. Some are perfect, some broken, some incomplete. They are not decorations. They are reminders. Each step you take echoes gently through the spiral stairwell. Though the water muffles every sound, it is not a lonely echo. It feels like someone walking with you, someone who once made this climb before. There are windows along the way, narrow slits in the stone. They let in thin columns of sea light that bend like drifting ribbons. Through them, you glimpse pieces of the city far below, domes, statues, long-forgotten plazas, now blanketed in silt and stillness. And above, nothing, just the next turn of the stairs. You keep climbing. The steps grow thinner, lighter, almost not there. You feel as though you are walking not on stone, but on memory, something worn smooth by years of soft footsteps and slower thoughts. At the top, the room opens, circular, wide, calm. The walls are bare. The floor is covered in fine white sand, untouched. And at the center stands the clock. It is tall and simple. No gold, no ticking, no glass, just a face without hands, a circle marked with faint lines, as if it once knew how to measure something, but forgot. You approach, slowly, and as you draw near, the water shifts. Time begins to soften. Your thoughts lose their edges. Moments blend. Memories rise. Not like waves, but like fog. You see mornings from long ago. Afternoons that lingered like soft sun on skin. Nights full of laughter, of tears, of silence. All of them. There. All at once. Held by the clock that no longer tries to measure them. The tower does not care what time it is. It only remembers how time feels. You touch the face of the clock, and the world stills. Not with fear, with peace. You feel how small time is, how soft. You feel how many days you have carried on your shoulders, unaware. How many hours you tried to hold tightly, only to feel them slip away. But here, none of that matters. There are no hands to chase, no numbers to obey. Only this breath, this moment, this heartbeat. You sit upon the sandy floor, and the tower breathes with you. Around you, the water sings without sound. The clock glows faintly, not with light, but with presence, as though it, too, has exhaled at last. You close your eyes, and time lets go of you, not to lose you, to let you rest. For in this tower, nothing is expected of you. No beginning, no end, just a stillness so deep, it feels like love. Your chest rises, falls. You're floating now, not through water, but through time unmeasured. Moments become warmth, memories become hush. And in that hush, you hear the softest voice. It is not from the tower. It is not from the city. It is from within. It says, you are allowed to stop. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to dream. The tower agrees. The city below sighs. The bells asleep. The sea waits. And you close your eyes. Let the minutes fall like grains of sand. Let the hours dissolve like light through deep water. Let sleep wrap around you like the arms of time itself. Forgetting everything, but this moment of perfect rest. There is no need to count the stars. They will shine for you anyway. Beyond the clock tower, down a winding path of broken stones and drifting petals, lies a place few remember. There are no maps that lead here, no names carved in stone, just a gentle current that brushes your side, inviting you without sound. And then you arrive. A garden, not built, but grown beneath the sea. It stretches wide beneath a dome of translucent coral, where light filters in like faded dreams. The floor is soft with sea moss and scattered leaves the color of sleep. There is no roof, only the curved shimmer of water above, rippled and golden, as if the sky itself is breathing. Nothing moves quickly here. Everything grows slowly, gently, as if cradling time. You float between the archways of living branches, past statues covered in pearls and barnacle dust. Their faces are half lost, but their eyes still hold something tender. Not sadness, not silence, but a kind of waiting. And in this garden, no one speaks, not because they cannot, but because they don't need to. Here, the language is in the movement of kelp, the sway of long tendrils brushing stone, in the shimmer of bubbles rising from unseen roots, in the pulse of light that flickers like breath across the sand. You pass a tree whose branches drift sideways, as if still reaching toward an old sun. Tiny shells cling to its bark. When the current moves, they chime faintly, like the memory of laughter behind a closed door. Everywhere you look, there is life without urgency. A flower made of silk-thin glass opens at your passing, then closes again. A bed of glowing mushrooms sends up small clouds of silver dust, like sighs rising into night. And at the center of the garden, there is a bench, made of smooth stone, half covered in moss. It waits beneath an arch of vines that bloom with dreams. You rest there. The bench welcomes your wait, like it has waited for it, like it remembers every traveler who has come before, drifting, dreaming, tired from the climb of thoughts. You lie back, and above you, the garden sways. No words are needed. No thoughts have to be finished. Everything that wants to be said has already bloomed in silence. You close your eyes and feel the hush settle deeper. Around you, the plants breathe slowly. Each one releases its own kind of comfort. The tall fronds stroke the water with lullabies. The soft moss beneath you hums with warmth, like the memory of someone who once held your hand without asking why. Here, even time sleeps. The sea does not move forward. It circles, spirals, sighs, and the garden sighs with it. Your thoughts blur into colors. Your breath becomes rhythm. Your body forgets the need to hold itself tightly, and in this forgetting, you begin to remember something else, not with your mind, but with your heart, a sense of having always belonged, of being carried, gently, even when you did not know it. The statues do not turn to look. The trees do not whisper, but you feel their presence, watching, welcoming, holding space for you to rest. Let go. Let the silence speak. Let the colors cradle you. Let the garden keep its quiet promise that in this city beneath the moon, nothing is ever truly lost, only softened, only changed. You drift, not away, but inward, like a petal closing slowly, like a wish sinking into still water, like sleep curling in the corners of your eyes. No one speaks, and so you hear everything. There is a chamber, not far from the garden, hidden behind a curtain of silver reeds. It doesn't call you, it waits. You pass through the reeds quietly. They part like soft whispers, brushing against your arms as if recognizing your silence. And there it is, the library of forgotten sounds. It doesn't look like a library at first. There are no books, no shelves, no names carved into spines, only tall pillars of coral rising in quiet spirals, and between them, floating gently, are orbs of glass, clear, round, weightless. Each one hums faintly, a sound softer than memory. Some glow with pale, green light. Some drift like leaves in still water. Some hang motionless, like sleeping stars. You step inside, and the moment you do, the water shifts. Not around you, but within you. You feel something loosen in your chest, something you hadn't realized was clenched. It is not your heart. It is not your breath. It is your noise, the quiet clutter of thoughts, the echo of words unspoken, the weight of things you never had time to feel. Here, all that floats away. The orbs begin to stir. One drifts toward you, gently. You reach out. When your fingers brush its surface, it doesn't burst. It sings. A sound fills your ears. Not loud, not sharp, just a small thing. The sound of leaves falling. The sound of someone exhaling after crying. The sound of rain hitting an old wooden roof. Then it fades, and another floats near. This one carries laughter. Not yours, not anyone's, you know, but familiar. Laughter from long ago, when days were long and worries were small. You don't need to remember the moment. The sound remembers for you. Around you, more orbs awaken. You drift past them, and each one lets out a murmur. A baby's breath while dreaming. The flutter of bird wings. A lullaby sung in a language never spoken. This is not a place for learning. It is a place for hearing what was lost. Sounds that were once part of the world. Forgotten by cities, overwritten by clocks, buried beneath voices that never stop. But here, the sounds are safe. They wait with patience. They are not jealous of silence. They are not angry at being forgotten. They simply exist. You sit near the tallest coral pillar. The orbs gather softly around you, not to demand attention, but to offer companionship. One rests beside your shoulder and plays the sound of the wind passing through hollow stone. Another releases the creak of an old door opening into a room filled with light, each one a note in the song of a life once lived. And you too are part of that song, not by speaking, not by remembering, but by being here, still, listening, letting the forgotten be found again, just for a moment. You close your eyes. The sounds do not stop. They do not grow louder. They wrap around you like soft arms, layering your dreams with textures deeper than words. You hear the hush of snow falling on an empty street. You hear the sigh of a whale far beneath. You hear the echo of your own breath, slowed to the rhythm of the sea, and the sea listens back, not judging, just knowing. The orbs drift away one by one, tucking their songs back into stillness. The pillars of coral pulse faintly. like a heart slowing before sleep, and you rest, carried by a quiet, not of silence, but of sound so soft it feels like a blanket made of memory. The library doesn't close, it simply dims. Its sounds return to waiting, and your thoughts float down like feathers, settling in the water. You are not empty, you are full of quiet, and the sea around you hums a lullaby no one ever taught you, because you already knew it. Not every room in the sunken city looks inward. Some face the sea, some face the past, but there is one that faces upward, towards something else. It is hidden near the city's edge, where the old stone becomes thinner, lighter, almost transparent. There, nestled in a half-crumbled tower, is a narrow passageway, carved with the gentlest of curves. Follow it, and you will find a room with no roof, only a frame of coral columns reaching up like fingers, holding the water as if it were glass. In the center of that room is a single window. It does not sit in a wall. It floats, a round frame of silver, suspended mid-water, unmoving, glowing faintly with the color of distant stars. And through it, you can see the sky, not the one above the sea, not the one you remember from the waking world, but a sky that lives only here, silent, eternal, untouchable. It is always twilight beyond the window, a soft shade of indigo folding into violet. There are no sunrises, no endings, only the gentle hush of an evening that has always just begun. You drift toward the window. You do not rush. There is no need. The water in this room is still, as if held in the palms of something kind. As you approach, the frame hums softly, not a warning, just an acknowledgement. It knows you are here. And when you reach it, you find that looking through the window does not show you more. It shows you less, not emptiness, but clarity. Through the glass, you see a sky untouched by noise. No clouds, no birds, just the quiet gleam of stars like candle flames pressed gently into velvet. But then, something else, movement, not outside, inside you, a ripple in your chest, like recognition. The longer you gaze, the more the stars seem to breathe, not flickering, not burning, just pulsing, like a lullaby made of light. You place your hand near the glass, not touching, just near, and slowly the stars begin to shift. They don't move across the sky, they move through you. Each one passes softly behind your eyes. You don't see them exactly. You feel them, like memories you never lived but always carried. A child's giggle, a moonlit lake, the sound of a name you forgot you loved. You're not alone here. Others have stood before this window. You can feel them, faintly, like warm handprints on cold glass. They came not to see, but to remember, not the world outside, but the sky within. You float back slowly, letting the view remain. You do not need to hold it. It will not leave. The room breathes around you. Soft bubbles rise from beneath the stones. Each one reflects a piece of starlight. Each one carries it deeper into the sea. And you begin to drift again, not away, but downward, into sleep, the true deep. The window stays behind, glowing faintly, not as a beacon, but as a promise that even in the deepest places, there is always something above, something still, something vast, something gentle, something that remembers you even when you forget yourself. There is one more turn in the quiet corridors of the sunken city, a passageway carved so gently into the stone that even the water forgets to ripple as it flows past. You follow it not because you must, but because you are ready. At the end of this path is a small opening, like a door, that has been waiting without hurry. You enter, and the room greets you not with grandeur, but with softness. It is round, like the inside of a seashell. The walls are smooth and pale, almost luminous. They curve inward, like arms, like the inside of a memory folding itself closed. There is no ceiling. Above, the water opens into a dome of slow-moving light. Not stars this time, not sky, but something warmer, the golden hush of morning that hasn't happened yet. In the center of the room floats a cushion of silk-like kelp, tied in gentle knots, swaying ever so slightly. It waits, not empty, but welcoming. You move toward it, drawn not by thought, but by feeling. When you settle into it, you do not sink. You are held. The kelp breathes beneath you, adjusting itself like a lullaby, reshaping to match your heart. Around the edges of the room, small stones rest in a perfect circle. Some glow faintly, some are dull and cool, but each one contains a dream. Not yours, not anyone's in particular, but dreams that once drifted loose in the world and found their way here. A dream of flying without fear, a dream of an open field that never ends, a dream of a voice calling you home, though you never knew from where. They are not meant to be watched, only felt, and as you rest, they begin to return, not all at once. One by one, they enter you, not as stories, but as feelings, weightless, joy, unspoken forgiveness, a laugh from someone who only ever lived in a dream. This is the room where dreams come back, not to be remembered, but to be kept. They settle in you like soft feathers, finding their place among the quiet places in your mind that are never rushed, never asked to explain. You close your eyes, and inside, the dreams begin to gather gently, like birds perching in the branches of your breath. Outside, the city doesn't move. It doesn't need to. The water is still, the lights are low, and nothing calls for change. Here, everything simply is. You begin to forget what it meant to hurry, to reach, to carry anything at all. There is no name here, no time, no goal, only the slow return of all that was once scattered. You are whole, not because you gathered every piece, but because you allowed them to return on their own. The room grows dim, not from shadow, but from peace. The light folds inward like a petal closing before sleep, and you drift, not away, not down, but inward to the deepest part of rest, where even dreams no longer need to be dreamed. They simply wait with you, breathing. There is no path out of the city, not because you are trapped, but because the city was never a place to leave. It was always a place to return from. And now you are returning, not with your body, but with your breath, with the slow rhythm of rest sinking deeper than dreams. The chambers of the city fade behind you, not like doors closing, but like petals folding in sleep. You drift upward without swimming. The water lifts you, not pushing, not pulling. just rising, as if the sea itself is helping you ascend. There are no bubbles now, no sound, just the quiet hush of everything letting go. The towers below become soft silhouettes, their windows still glowing, still dreaming. You do not turn to watch them disappear. You carry their memory in the calm behind your eyes. Above, something begins to change. The color of the water deepens, not darker, but clearer, the way early morning light is clear, when the world is not yet awake, but already waiting. And then you see it, the surface, not sharp, not sudden. It appears the way dawn appears, slow, patient, kind, a shimmer becoming a shape becoming a sky. You do not reach for it. It comes to you, as if it too has been drifting down this whole time, quietly meeting you halfway. When you touch it, there is no splash, no sound at all, only the sense of air, the softest difference between water and wind. You do not open your eyes, but you feel the warmth beyond, not heat, not sun, just warmth, the kind that says, you are safe. You rest there, where sea becomes sky, where breath becomes breeze, where sleep becomes silence. There are no waves here, only the slow pulse of the world holding you in place. Nothing asks where you've been. Nothing asks what you found. The surface waits without asking. It does not demand return. It does not measure the time you spent below. It simply cradles you now. Your body, your mind, your dreams. Above, the moon still watches, not from the sky, but from within you. It followed you down. It rises with you now, and in this place between waking and sleep, between water and air, between memory and forgetting, you are still, not empty, not full, just here, held, home, and the city beneath. It remains, always waiting, always silent, always kind, for the next dream, the next drift, the next moment when someone closes their eyes and floats inward. It will be there, beneath the moon, where no one rushes, and nothing is lost, only softened, only quieted, only remembered by the sea and you. You sleep, like the city, peaceful, whole, and slowly, slowly, gone.